So good morning to everybody connected today, and we have completed our third unit, and we are starting our fourth unit today. Literally, okay, we have completed the last unit already. Am I right or not? We have already completed the last unit also because once we have been concentrating on modeling, we have gone for both transfer function model development and state space model also. So this is going to be your last unit as per the way we are teaching, right? And today we'll be discussing in concepts of stability. Before getting inside that, we will see what are there in the unit 4 and how we have completed unit 3. Then we will get inside the actual discussion, right? So I hope you try kindly tell me. The first unit has been discussed already. Second unit is also over. Only thing is what I have left behind is I have to talk about the effects of PPI, PID modes of a feedback control. That is not been touched so far. We will discuss at the end of the semester, right? So this is left behind. Okay. In third unit, frequency response, you can see Bode diagram. Yes, we have completed. Polar, we have completed. Determination of closed loop response from open loop response. That is what. Okay. Open loop transfer function, getting out the frequency response using Bode and Polar. That is what. And correlation between frequency domain and time domain specification. That is also completed because we know that how the time domain specifications and frequency domain specifications are related. So that is what we have already discussed that too. And the fifth unit, we know that we have completed everything. State model, linear time variant for linear time invariant system, solution of state and output equations in controllable canonical form. Yes, concept of controllability and observability, that too we have completed. Okay. Yes or no in the chat window, please. Whatever we have discussed so far, I have consolidated that. Yes or no in the chat window, please. Okay, so yeah, thank you. So stability and compensated design is your fourth unit, under which we are going to talk about the concepts of stability first, which involves with the concepts about characteristic equation. Then Routh-Hurwitz criterion is there. We have to talk about Nyquist stability criterion. Then comes your compensators. And as I said, we will be using Bode diagrams to design your compensators. Okay, and you can find a lot of lectures in my YouTube channel itself because in the last year I have taken that Nyquist stability criteria and compensated design already for your seniors. And if you are interested in that, you can go through those lectures also. Okay, and we will start with the stability concepts today. And okay, based on the characteristic equations and location of poles, how your stability is going to vary, and how impulse response is okay related to stability analysis. Okay, that also we will discuss. Then we will, if time is there, we will start introduction about Routh-Hurwitz criteria. Meanwhile, you tell me whether you have any doubts regarding Bode plots and polar, which we have discussed in the previous lectures. Because why I am so concerned with Bode, because the design of compensators is related. The first step of design of compensators is for an uncompensated system, you have to go for a Bode diagram. From the Bode diagram, you have to calculate the frequency domain specifications and verify whether the specifications are provided in the problem statement is satisfying. Okay, if not satisfied, we have to go for a design of a compensator. So the first step of compensator design lies or depends on how to plot a Bode diagram. Okay, how to go for a Bode plot, how to construct a Bode plot. So that's what I am so concerned about. So if I am correct, I have solved I think 4 problems I have solved in the classroom, and one or two problems I have given as a homework. Yes or no in the chat window at least. Yes or no in the chat window at least. 4 problems I have solved in the class. Each one is different. Each one is a different problem. And 2 problems I hope that I have given it as a homework. Yes. Hello? Yes. Okay. So, okay, if you see the type of the problem, the variety of a problem, okay, I have taken a simple transfer function first, then I have solved it, and I have plotted the Bode plot. Then what I have done? Then I have gone for introducing a gain k there, okay, then finding out the k value for a given specification provided in the problem statement. Then the third one is, if your transfer function has a polynomial, a second order polynomial or a quadratic equation, we can say, how to deal with that. And the fourth problem says that if you have a delay element, if you have a delay factor, how to deal with that. So I have four different problems. Okay, this is how I think I have touched every factors inside it. We have talked about Bode diagram. Initially, we have talked about the factors involved in the transfer function and how to find the corner frequency, how to take the how to find the how time down, what you call as time constant form and all. I have implied that in different variety of problems in the classes. Then also two simple problems I have given you to solve it. Okay, so you discuss about all these six problems again and again. You, if you have a doubt, um, I will try to clarify that if you post me a question regarding that. Do you want a doubt clarifying session regarding Bode diagram or a polar plot, whatever it is? Do you maybe I will try to complete the syllabus as early as possible. Then the remaining hours, if still exist, okay, those hours we will have it for a doubt clarification session. Again, doubt clarification, specifically you have to ask me doubts. Don't say that you try to again solve the problem. You try to solve not solve the problem. You try to teach me what is Bode plot first from the beginning. That is not correct. Bode plot has been already taught, and the lectures are available in my YouTube channel. You can go through that, and if you have specific doubts in any of the steps to be followed, you can post that doubt and you can ask me. Understand? Accepted? Yes or no? From first to fifth, whatever the unit is going to be. So maybe this week and next week I will try to complete the portion as early as possible. As I have already mentioned, these fourth unit based lectures are already available in my YouTube channel. You can go through that. NICU stability criteria, lead and lag compensated design and all. I have already posted it. Okay, in the previous years, you can verify it. If you are still, anyway, I will touch those things in this semester also. I will not leave that without teaching. But anyway, if you want prior idea about that, you can go through that and you come to the class with a prepared mindset, right? So that's the idea today. So we will get inside the topic called as concepts of stability, as what we said. Meanwhile, please try to submit some homework problems, whatever I am specifying it, I am providing you, and that will be provided in the Google Classrooms alone. So try to submit your answers in the Google Classrooms. Whatever the problems I am going to provide you as a homework, okay, you try to provide it. You submit it in the Google Classrooms, right? So that's the idea. And also I will try to provide you with some more exercises because exams are coming nearer actually. So continuously you have to put lot of efforts. Okay, so the concept here is the concept of stability. Anyway, we already know that if you take an S domain, okay, if you take an S plane or if you take an S plane, we know that this is the real part of S and the real part of S, and this is your imaginary part of S. Because we always say S is equal to sigma plus or minus j omega, and this sigma is also plus or minus. So you will have real part of plus and minus here. So sigma plus sigma and minus sigma, and here it is j omega and minus j omega. We have already discussed about this in the previous lectures. Okay, based on the location of poles, can you tell me which side your poles has to lie to be stable? Any answers? Hello? We have discussed already regarding stability and all. The previous second unit, time domain specifications, we are talking about that. Okay, step response, impulse response, and all. I have even that also already. Okay. Anyway, I will repeat the problem. Repeat the statement here. This is your left hand side, and this is your right hand side. Now tell me what is that? If your poles lie on which side, you will say the system is stable. Now it is clear. If your poles are lying on the left hand side, it is going to be stable. Right hand side, if it is going to be unstable. If it is on directly on the j omega axis, it is going to be marginally stable. Marginally stable in your right hand, in your j omega axis. Exactly. Okay. We will see that. We will see that step by step, and we will see the reason behind it. Anyway, already we have discussed about that reason also. Anyway, we will see that. So, what is meant by stability? It refers to a stable working condition of any system provided, and you want all your designed system to be on stable region only. You have to operate your system to be on stable region. If it becomes unstable, there is a possibility of getting going for any accidents and all. In your let us take a process industry. If your system becomes unstable, if you take a nuclear reactor, and if your nuclear reactor becomes unstable, what happens? You will meet with an accident. You will feel an abnormality in the process, okay, which will lead to an accident there. Okay. So you are supposed to design a control system in such a way that your system always works in a stable region. Okay, so that's the idea. And what is the advantage of being a system to be in stable region? You can predict the system's output at any time for any given input. Okay, so if only your system is stable, you can predict about it. If it is not, if it is becoming unstable, then whatever you predict is not going to be there. So, what is the advantages of being a system to be stable? A system, if only it is stable, you will get your proper prediction. You can get your products in a better way. Quality of the products will be better. Okay, the efficiency of the system may be in a better condition. Okay, and you will not have any abnormality around it, and it is going to be very safe. So that is what you call the advantages of a system to be in stable point, right? What are the conditions of stability? We have 7 different conditions provided here. I will go one by one. The first concept about stability is provided if the output is bounded. That is bounded in the sense if it can be defined mathematically, if it has a bounded values boundary. If you have a limit of output, you can say that if you have a response at any time instant, you are able to you can able to say the magnitude of the response at any time instant. Then you can say that is going to be bounded. If you are providing a bounded input and you are receiving a bounded output, then your system is called as stable. And we call this as BIBO stability, bounded input, bounded output stability. BIBO, bounded input, bounded output. Okay, that is absolutely stable, right? Then you go for asymptotically stable. The second most important stability definition, because these points will come there in your 2 mark questions. Okay, a system is asymptotically stable. What is asymptotically stable in the condition means? Okay, what is that is if you are not providing any input. Okay, when you are providing an input and you are getting an output, well and good. And if you are not providing an input, the system has to go back to its equilibrium position or go back to its initial condition, which is termed as asymptotically stable. Let us say an ammeter or a voltmeter, any meter, whatever you say, if you provide an input to that meter, it will tend to move the pointer according to the magnitude of the input provided. For example, if it is an ammeter, it will move and display you the current value. Once you are not providing an input, what happens to the meter? What happens to the pointer? I am talking about analog meters. What happens to the pointer? Hello? ஒரு அம்மீட்டர் இருக்கு, அம்மீட்டருக்கு இன்புட் கொடுக்குறீங்க, இன்புட் கொடுத்த உடனே அது என்ன செய்யுது, ஒரு கரண்ட் வேல்யூ டிஸ்பிளே பண்ணுது, பாயிண்டர் போய் நிற்கிது, 2 ஆம்ஸ் 3 ஆம்ஸ் இல்லை 5 ஆம்ஸ் நிற்குது. இன்புட் நீங்க கொடுக்கல, அப்போ என்ன ஆகும், திருப்பி அந்த பாயிண்டர் என்ன செஞ்சிடும், இட் கோஸ் பேக் டு ஜீரோ. That is initial condition. It goes back to the initial condition, irrespective of what. Okay, irrespective of the initial condition, it goes back to the equilibrium state, towards the zero or to be the equilibrium state, irrespective of the initial conditions, right? So, okay, that is what you call it as asymptotically stable. Without providing an input, if your system is providing an output, then it has a problem in it. It is not a stable system. Okay, that is asymptotically stable process. Okay, if a system is stable, okay, a system is stable if for a bounded disturbing input signal, the output ultimately vanishes as t approaches infinity. This is again a condition for to be a system to be stable. Then fourth one, a system is unstable if for a bounded disturbing input signal, the output is of an infinite amplitude or oscillatory. Okay, if you get a response of infinite amplitude, or if the system continues to be oscillating around a region, okay, which is beyond the tolerance limit of your system, then you say that is unstable. Okay, only for a particular value of gain value, okay, it is behaving as a stable, and for a few more value it is going to be unstable, then you call that as to be limitedly stable. You see, for a bounded input signal, if the output has constant amplitude oscillations, then the system may be stable or unstable under some limited conditions or constraints. Then you call it as limitedly stable. If a system output is stable for all variants of its parameters, then the system is absolutely stable. In root locus and all, you may get it like your root locus is not crossing the j omega axis. It is there in the left hand side of the S plane alone. It is not crossing the j omega axis towards RHS. Okay, those systems are said to be absolutely stable. Okay, for all the parameter, for whatever the value of k, you are going to 0 to infinity. If you vary your k value, your system parameters are being inside, your root is there in the left hand side alone, then you call that to be absolutely stable systems. There is no possibility of bringing those systems back to the unstable region. Okay, that is called as absolutely stable. Then what is another thing called as conditionally stable? A system output is stable for a limited range of variations of parameters, then the system is called as conditionally stable system. What is conditionally stable? For a few values of k value, it remains in the stable region. Then for a few values of other values, it goes to the unstable region. For example, if you have a root locus like this, let us say you have a root locus like this. Initially, it is starting from a pole, it goes here, then it comes here, then goes. Okay, you can see that the root starts from the pole, it tries to move towards the zero at somewhere at the infinity. For you can see, other than this first bend, you have two bends, first and second. Okay, the first bend is in the right hand side of the S plane, which is unstable region. And the second bend, you can see that it comes inside your stable region, left hand side. Okay, for a few values of k, it is there in the stable region or left hand side. For other values of k, it is in the right hand side. Then you say that okay, for only a few values of k, it is there in the stable region. So it has a condition to be inside a stable region. So it is conditionally stable system. Is that okay? Any doubts so far? Hello? Hello? Any doubts so far? Okay. So So this is how you define your different stabilities. Okay, different stabilities. Apart from this, we have another called as relative stability. Okay, we will have another thing called as relative stability. We will discuss about that later. Okay, based on the location of poles, you say the system is stable. If you have a pole in the left hand side, this is, you can say this is your S plane, and based on that, if you get a response, okay, if your transfer function is something like capital A divided by S plus A, so your S plus A, if you equate it to 0, you will get S is equal to minus A. Minus A will be lying in the left hand side. If a pole lies on the left hand side, then obviously if you take inverse Laplace for that, A by S plus A, you will get A into e power minus AT. If you are able to draw, if you plot a graph between T and A e power minus AT, then your graph looks like this. It is absolutely an exponentially decaying curve. So it is having a limited value. It will try to reach your T x-axis when T is equal to infinity. When T is equal to infinity, your M of T will be equal to 0. Okay. So at T it is going to reach. So the value varies from A to 0. Maximum A, okay, maximum A, minimum it is 0. So it is a bounded curve. So since it is a bounded curve, based on the Bibo stability, I can say if you have a left hand side pole, then you can say the system is stable. What happens if it is the other way? If you have a right hand side pole, that is, if you equate S minus A equal to 0, you will get S is equal to plus A right on the right hand side of the S plane. Then you can see that when T is equal to infinity, then M of T, M of S or M of T will be equal to infinite, because e power plus AT. E power plus AT reaches e power infinity, e power infinity is e power infinity is infinity. So you have a problem. So it is absolutely, you can see that the curve is exponentially increasing curve, and the value is, limit is between A to infinity. It is having A to infinity. So the problem is it is having an infinite value for a different T. If you extend your T beyond some limit, so probably that is going to be an unstable system. The system is unstable if you have a pole at the right hand side of the S plane. How many number of poles you have in the right hand side decides, okay, how many, okay, we will discuss about relative stability later, right? So, right, this is the second case. Third case, if you have a complex conjugate pole on the left hand side, only if you have a complex conjugate pole on the left hand side, then you have a damped oscillation, and the damped oscillations will be decreasing. You can see that the oscillations are decreasing as time prolongs. If time tends to infinity, it will reach 0, because you have an exponentially decreasing of e power minus AT is there. And this we have done it in your previous second unit, where we have tried to find the time response analysis. The same thing is been compared here. If you are able to find the time response analysis of this particular system, which is having a transfer function of having a complex conjugate pole, then your response look like this. And since it is having a bounded value, then you say the system is a stable system, because your poles are on the left hand side. What is on the other case? If you have a right hand side, if you have a complex conjugate poles on the right hand side, you can see that it is exponentially increasing e power AT there. So you can see that the curve is going to oscillate, and the oscillation is going to increase as time tends to infinity. It goes on increasing. So it is an unstable system. So the amplitude of oscillation is exponentially increasing with time. So it is an unstable system. Okay, what happens if you have exactly your poles are there in the imaginary axis? If your system transfer function has poles exactly which is there in the imaginary axis, j omega axis, what happens? You will get a sustained oscillation. Sustained oscillation in the sense what? An oscillation which is having a continuous oscillation with a constant magnitude. You can see the magnitude is not changing. முன்னாடி இருக்கக்கூடிய ரெண்டு கண்டிஷன்ல இருக்கக்கூடிய ஆசிலேஷன் மாதிரி கூடவோ குறையவோ இல்லை, ஒரே மாதிரி ஆசிலேஷன்ஸ் வந்துகிட்டே இருக்கு. We call this particular system as a marginally stable system. Very important concept. Very important concept. This concept will be used for tuning PIDs and all. We will discuss when you are dealing with PID later. Then if you have multiple poles in the j omega axis, not single complex conjugate poles, if you have multiple poles, then again you will have what happens? you will have continuously increasing amplitude of oscillations, so the system is going to be unstable. Only one complex conjugate pair is in j omega axis, then fine, it is going to be marginally stable. But if you have multiple j omega axis poles to the j omega axis, then it is going to be an unstable system. Okay. If you have a pole at the origin, what is pole at the origin? If the system is an integrator system, if it is an integrator, what happens? If you provided any constant value to an integrator, it is going to provide you a step input, because impulse input, if you integrate it, if you integrate that, you will get 1 by s. That is your step. You can see it's a constant step input. A constant step input is there. And this impulse is constant, response is constant, it is marginally stable. It is marginally stable because, okay, it is lying at some stage, it is not tending to go, because even if you not provide input probably, right, it is going to have a impact on that, right? So it is going to be marginally stable, right? When we go for another character, if we have multiple poles at the origin, double poles. So what happens? Double poles in the sense you will have a ramp like structure, right? 1 by double integrator, 1 by s squared. So double integration in the sense, if you provide 1 and you have double integrations, what happens? Your output is going to be 1 by s squared. So it is going to be a ramp representation. It is an unstable representation because if time tends to infinity, then it is also moving towards infinity. So the problem is, it is not a boundary curve, so it is going to be an unstable system. So based on the location of your poles, you can comment about your stability of the system. Just like that, seeing the poles, you can say whether it is on the right hand side, whether it is on the left hand side, whether you have a complex conjugate pole in left or right, whether you have a complex conjugate in your j omega, whether you have a double conjugate poles in the j omega axis, or you have a pole in the origin, or you have a double pole in the origin. Okay, so you can comment about it. So what I can consolidate it is, okay, what I can consolidate here is, if you have a pole here, okay, your response is going to be like this. If your pole is complex conjugate, which is nearer your j omega axis, then obviously your oscillations will be, your oscillations is going to have much of not decreasing amplitude, so it is going to have time, take a lot of time to settle down. If your still your curve is your poles are away from the j omega axis, then your stability is going to increase. Okay, your stability is going to increase. If you have complex conjugate in the right hand side, then it is going to have a pole which is going to have an increase actually in the oscillation. If you have a real pole, obviously you'll have absolutely decaying curve. If you have a real pole in the right hand side, it is going to have an absolutely exponentially increasing curve. So you can comment about the amount of stability, more stability, or what is that? Highly stable. I can say that these poles. Let us name that poles. Okay, let us say this is P. This is P1, P1 star. This is P2. This is P3, P3 star. This is okay, P4, P4 star. This is P5. I will say, okay, we will say P3 and P3 star are the system which is having P3 and P3 star are more stable, most stable than any other okay system having poles like P2, P1, P1 star, etc. P4, P4 star and P5 are all unstable systems locations, pole locations. And P is marginally stable. Okay, P2 is again stable. P1 and P1 star are lesser stable, because if there is a possibility of the movement of this P1 and P1 star towards your j omega axis or beyond the j omega axis to the right hand side of the S plane, if my k is being varied, my gain is going to be varied. கொஞ்சம் k வேல்யூ சேஞ்ச் பண்ணா கூட இது P1 P1 ஸ்டாரும் ரைட் ஹேண்ட் சைடு போறதுக்கு வாய்ப்பு இருக்கு. ஆனா P3 P3 ஸ்டாரோ ரொம்ப தள்ளி j omega axisல இருக்கிறதுனால அதோட ஸ்டெபிலிட்டி இன்னும் ஜாஸ்தி. அப்ப இதுக்கு பேர் தான் என்னது ரிலேட்டிவ் ஸ்டெபிலிட்டின்னு சொல்றது. We call this as how relatively the system is stable based on the pole location. Any doubts so far in this discussion? Any doubts? Hello? Right. So I can have some few summaries here. I will go little step by step. So if all the roots of the characteristic equation has a negative real part, because the condition for knowing the pole is, if you have a transfer function g of s 1 plus g of s h of s, okay, then your condition for stability is 1 plus g of s h of s is equal to 0, which provides you the pole location. Okay, that is why we say 1 plus g of s h of s is equal to 0 is the characteristic equation, right? So if all the roots of this characteristic equation has negative real parts in the sense they will lie, the poles poles will be in left hand side, negative real parts minus sigma, okay, negative. So left hand side, the system is going to be stable. If any root of the characteristic equation has a positive real part is plus sigma, right hand side, okay, or there is a repeated root on the imaginary axis, then the system is unstable. Even I can add one more point. What is that? If you have multiple poles in the origin also, since it is the imaginary axis is covering that origin also, they have not mentioned separately. Okay, then third point is, if the condition is satisfied, okay, except for the presence of one or more non-repeated roots on the imaginary axis, then the system is limitedly or marginally stable. That is, if you have only one set of complex conjugate pole, one set of complex conjugate pole in the sense, okay, that again there will be a confusion. What is the confusion? People will say that if I am having a complex conjugate pole like 2 plus or minus J3, 3 plus or minus J4. So how many poles are there in the J omega axis? How many poles are there in the J omega axis? Hello? 2 plus or minus J3, 3 plus or minus J4. How many poles are there in the I'm not in the J omega axis. Okay, there is no poles in the J omega axis here. Every pole, okay, every pole is lying on the, it has to be on the right, it will be right in the right hand side. Okay, if I am adding a minus to the real part, all these poles will be there in the left hand side. If I am having a pole like plus or minus J5, then I will have a plus J5 and minus J5. If I am having another pole in the same problem with plus or minus J3, okay, I will have another okay, plus J3 and another okay, another minus J3. Now tell me, for this particular problem, whether the system is stable, marginally stable or unstable. Tell me. I will take this particular, because people will get confused. I am saying that from this, what are all the poles actually? You have S is equal to plus or minus JB and S is equal to plus or minus JB, two times. So on the same location, you are having multiple poles on the same location. In that case only, you will have an unstable system. If you have different poles in the imaginary axis, that is equal to, that is what I say. If the other one is plus or minus JA and S is equal to plus or minus JB, so what happens if you will have a different location, plus or minus JB, you will have minus JB minus JA plus JB plus JA, or I will say in numbers plus or minus 2J plus or minus 10J, in the same, it is going to be marginally stable only. It is going to be marginally stable only. It will not be unstable. Please keep that in your memory, that if you have double poles, repeated poles, okay, multiple poles in the sense it is a repeated poles, okay. If it is repeatedly having a same pole in the J omega axis exactly, then its system is unstable. If you have different complex poles exactly, okay, like J plus or minus 2J plus or minus 10J, then you can say it is going to be marginally stable. You cannot say it is unstable. Any doubts so far? Okay, any doubts so far? Hello? ஒரே லொகேஷன்ல திருப்பி திருப்பி போல்ஸ் இருந்தது அப்படின்னா அன்ஸ்டேபிள் ஆகும் ஜேமேகால. நான் சொன்ன மாதிரி பிளஸ் ஆர் மைனஸ் ஜே டூவே 2 தடவை ரிப்பீட் ஆயிருக்கு. பிளஸ் ஆர் மைனஸ் 2J பிளஸ் ஆர் மைனஸ் 2Jன்னு வந்திருக்கு அப்படின்னா அது அன்ஸ்டேபிள் சிஸ்டம். அதே ப்ராப்ளம் பிளஸ் ஆர் மைனஸ் 2J இருக்கு, பிளஸ் ஆர் மைனஸ் 3J இருக்கு அப்படின்னா கண்டிப்பா அது மார்ஜினலி ஸ்டேபிள் தான், அன்ஸ்டேபிள் கிடையாது. இதுதான் கண்டிஷன். ஸோ summary 3 points we have seen. And based on the coefficients of the characteristic equation, இப்போ ஒரு கோஎஃபிஷியன்ட் ஒரு கேரக்டரிஸ்டிக் ஈக்குவேஷன் இருக்கு, அந்த கேரக்டரிஸ்டிக் ஈக்குவேஷனோட கோஎஃபிஷியன்ஸை வச்சு அதை வச்சு எப்படி சொல்ல முடியும்? இஃப் ஆல் த கோஎஃபிஷியன்ட்ஸ் ஆர் பாசிட்டிவ் அண்ட் நோ கோஎஃபிஷியன்ட் இஸ் 0, தென் ஆல் ரூட்ஸ் ஆர் இன் தி லெஃப்ட் ஹேண்ட் சைடு. இப்போ ஒரு 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 டிரான்ஸ்ஃபர் ஃபங்க்ஷன் ஒரு ஒரு ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் இப்படி ஒரு கேரக்டரிஸ்டிக் ஈக்குவேஷன் இருக்கு. எப்படி இருக்குன்னா s² + 3s + 2 இப்படி ஒன்று இருக்கு. s² + 3s + 2 இப்படி ஒரு கேரக்டரிஸ்டிக் ஈக்குவேஷன் இருக்கு. இதுல பாருங்க கான்ஸ்டன்ட் இருக்கு, s உடைய கோஎஃபிஷியன்ட் இருக்கு, s² ஓட கோஎஃபிஷியன்ட் இருக்கு. இதுல எல்லா கோஎஃபிஷியன்ட்டோடும் பாசிட்டிவா இருக்கு, எல்லா கோஎஃபிஷியன்ட்டும் பாசிட்டிவா இருக்கு, ஒரு கோஎஃபிஷியன்ட் கூட ஜீரோவா இல்லை. அப்படித்தானே? இப்படி இருந்தா இதோடைய ஓகே சஃபிஷியன்ட் கண்டிஷன், நெசசரி கண்டிஷன் சொல்றோம் இல்லையா, அது 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 வந்து என்ன இருக்கும் அப்படின்னா சிஸ்டம் ஸ்டேபிள்னு சொல்றது. எல்லா கோஎஃபிஷியன்ட்டும் பாசிட்டிவா இருக்கு, ஓகே, எல்லா கோஎஃபிஷியன்ட்டும் பாசிட்டிவா இருக்கு, ஒரு கோஎஃபிஷியன்ட் கூட ஜீரோவா இல்லை அப்படின்னா ரூட்ஸ் ஆர் இன் தி லெஃப்ட் ஹேண்ட் ஆஃப் ஆல் த ரூட்ஸ் இன் தி லெஃப்ட் ஹாஃப் ஆஃப் தி எஸ்பிளேன்னா சிஸ்டம் வந்து ஸ்டேபிள். அப்படித்தானே அர்த்தம்? இதுல ஏதாவது ஒன்று ஈக்குவல் டு 0, ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் இப்படி இருக்கு s² + 3s இப்படி ஒன்று இருக்கு, s² + 3s இஸ் ஈக்குவல் இப்படி ஒரு 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 ஈக்குவேஷன் இருக்கு. இதுல பாத்தீங்கன்னா கான்ஸ்டன்ட் இல்ல, இப்படி இருக்கு s² + 2 இப்படி இருக்கு. அப்ப s உடைய கோஎஃபிஷியன்ட் இல்ல. அதுதான் if any coefficient is equal to 0, then some of the roots may be on the imaginary axis or on the right half of the S-plane. Then it is going to be a unstable system or marginally stable system. If any system is any coefficient is negative, then at least one root is in the right half of the S-plane. At least, for example, எப்படி இருக்கு s² - 3s + 2 இருக்கு. அப்போ s உடைய கோஎஃபிஷியன்ட் நெகட்டிவா இருக்கு -3. அப்போ கண்டிப்பா ஒரு போலாவது என்ன செஞ்சிருக்கும், ரைட் ஹேண்ட் சைடு போயிருக்க வாய்ப்பு இருக்கு. அப்போ சிஸ்டம் வந்து அன்ஸ்டேபிளா இருக்கும். வாய்ப்பு இருக்கு. அது கோஎஃபிஷியன்ட்ஸை வச்சு சொல்றது. முன்னாடி நம்ம பார்த்த 3 கண்டிஷன்ஸும் போல்ஸோட லொகேஷன்ஸை வச்சு சொல்றது. ஆனா ரெண்டுமே அதோடைய கேரக்டரிஸ்டிக் ஈக்குவேஷன்ல இருந்து எடுத்தது தான். இந்த ஈக்குவேஷன்ங்கிறது கோஎஃபிஷியன்ட்ஸ்ங்கிறது கேரக்டரிஸ்டிக் ஈக்குவேஷன்ல இருக்கக்கூடிய கோஎஃபிஷியன்ட்ஸ் தான். அதுல ரூட்ஸ் ஆஃப் த கேரக்டரிஸ்டிக் ஈக்குவேஷன் தான் அதுக்கு முந்தி பார்த்தது. எனி டவுட்ஸ் சோ ஃபார்? எனி டவுட்ஸ்? Hello? Okay. So I will try to consolidate whatever we have discussed today. We will come to the end of the lecture. So whatever we have discussed today is based on the concept of stability. Okay. So if you take an S-plane, the left hand side is a stable region, right hand side is the unstable region, and the J omega axis is the marginally stable region. Okay, between the stable and unstable region. The மதில் மேல் பூனை அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம் இல்லையா, இந்த பக்கமும் இல்ல அந்த பக்கமும் இல்ல, நடுவுல இருக்கு. ஓகே, தட் இஸ் மார்ஜினலி ஸ்டேபிள். அப்ப என்னென்ன டெஃபினிஷன்ஸ் பார்த்தோம்? ஸ்டேபிள்னா பிபோ ஸ்டெபிலிட்டி பார்த்தோம், பவுண்டட் இன்புட் பவுண்டட் அவுட்புட், அசிம்டாட்டிக்கலி ஸ்டேபிள் பார்த்தோம், அப்சல்யூட்லி ஸ்டேபிள் பார்த்தோம், லிமிட்டட்லி ஸ்டேபிள் பார்த்தோம், கண்டிஷனலி ஸ்டேபிள் பார்த்தோம், ரிலேட்டிவ் ஸ்டெபிலிட்டி பார்த்தோம். டிஃபரெண்ட் ஸ்டெபிலிட்டிஸ் சொல்லியிருக்கிறோம். ஓகே, அதுக்கப்புறம் பேஸ்ட் ஆன் த லொகேஷன் ஆஃப் போல்ஸ், லெஃப்ட் ஹேண்ட் சைடில் போல்ஸ் இருந்ததுன்னா சிஸ்டம் ஸ்டேபிள், அது காம்ப்ளெக்ஸ் கான்ஜுகேட்டா இருந்ததுன்னா எப்படி இருக்கும் அதோடைய ரெஸ்பான்ஸ். அப்புறம் இன்னொரு முக்கியமான விஷயம் என்ன அப்படின்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, if your impulse response, okay, if your impulse response is absolutely integrable, or this integration is less than infinite or finite, then also system is stable. இப்போ டெல் ஆஃப் டிங்கிறது உங்களுடைய இம்பல்ஸ் ரெஸ்பான்ஸு. ஓகே ஓகே டெல் ஆஃப் டிங்கிறது உங்க இம்பல்ஸ் ரெஸ்பான்ஸ். இன்புட் வந்து இன்புட் வந்து இம்பல்ஸ் கொடுக்குறீங்க. ஒரு சிஸ்டம் இருக்கு. ஓகே யூ ஹேவ் அ ஜி ஆஃப் எஸ்னு வச்சுக்கலாமே. டெல் ஆஃப் டி வந்து இன்புட் வந்து நீங்க வந்து இம்பல்ஸ் கொடுக்குறீங்க. அவுட்புட் நான் என்ன பண்றேன், ஐ வில் டேக் சி ஆஃப் டி, ஒரு அவுட்புட் வச்சுக்கிறேன். இப்போ இந்த சி ஆஃப் டி, ஓகே இந்த சி ஆஃப் டி வந்து அப்சல்யூட்லி இன்டகிரபிளா இருக்கு. இன்டகிரபிள்னா என்ன, ஒரு இன்ஃபைனைட் வேல்யூஸை நீங்க வந்து உங்களோட இன்டகிரல் வேல்யூ வந்து வித்தின் த அன்லிமிட்டெட் இன்ஃபைனைட் லிமிட்ஸுக்கு இடையில நீங்க வந்து இதை இன்டகிரேட் பண்ணீங்கன்னா உங்களுக்கு ஃபைனைட் இந்த இன்டகிரேஷனுடைய வேல்யூ வந்து ஃபைனைட்டா கிடைச்சதுன்னா அப்பயும் இந்த சிஸ்டம் வந்து ஸ்டேபிள் தான். உங்க இன்புட் இம்பல்ஸா இருக்கும். ஓகே அவுட்புட் ஒன்று கிடைக்கும். ஒரு இன்புட்டுக்கு ஒரு சிஸ்டத்துக்கு இன்புட் இன்டகிரேஷன் இம்பல்ஸ் கொடுக்குறீங்க, அவுட்புட் வந்து ஒன்று கிடைக்குது. அந்த அவுட்புட்டை இன்டகிரேட் பண்றீங்க ஃபார் டிஃபரெண்ட் வேல்யூஸ் ஆஃப் டி வேல்யூஸ்க்கு பிட்வீன் மைனஸ் இன்ஃபினிட்டி டு பிளஸ் இன்ஃபினிட்டி கொடுக்கும்போது உங்களால ஒரு ஃபைனைட் வேல்யூ இந்த இன்டகிரேஷனுக்கு கிடைச்சது அப்படின்னா தென் சிஸ்டம் இஸ் ஸ்டேபிள். திஸ் இஸ் ஆல்சோ வெரி இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் டெஃபினிஷன். ஓகே அப்போ ஃபர்ஸ்ட் லொகேஷன் ஆஃப் போல்ஸை வச்சு என்ன சொல்ல முடியும், லெஃப்ட் ஹேண்ட் சைடில் இருக்குன்னா அது காம்ப்ளெக்ஸ் கான்ஜுகேட்டா இருந்தாலும் சரி இல்லை ரியல் போலா இருந்தாலும் சரி இட் இஸ் கோயிங் டு பி அப்சல்யூட்லி ஸ்டேபிள் தான். இதே ரைட் ஹேண்ட் சைடில் ஒரு போலோ இல்லை காம்ப்ளெக்ஸ் கான்ஜுகேட் போலோ இருந்ததுன்னா அது அன்ஸ்டேபிள். இதே ஒரு ஜெயோமெகா ஆக்சிஸ்ல இருந்ததுன்னா மார்ஜினலி ஸ்டேபிள். இப்போ ஜெயோமெகா ஆக்சிஸ்ல டபுள் போல் இருக்கு அப்படின்னா ஒரே மாதிரி பேர் ஆஃப் ரூட் இருக்கு அப்படின்னா அகைன் இட் இஸ் அன்ஸ்டேபிள். இப்போ ஆரிஜின்ல ஒரு போல் இருக்கு அப்படின்னா இட் இஸ் கோயிங் டு பி மார்ஜினலி ஸ்டேபிள். அதே ஆரிஜின்ல ரெண்டு ரூட் இருக்கு அப்படின்னா அது அன்ஸ்டேபிள். அதை வச்சு நம்ம we have consolidated that the summary. கோஎஃபிஷியன்ஸ் வச்சு சொல்லும் போதும் எல்லா கோஎஃபிஷியன்ஸும் இருக்கணும், ஜீரோ இருக்கக்கூடாது, எல்லாமே பாசிட்டிவா இருக்கணும் அப்படின்னா ஸ்டேபிள். ஏதாவது ஒரு கோஎஃபிஷியன்ட் ஜீரோவா இருக்கு அப்படின்னா அது மார்ஜினலி ஸ்டேபிளா இருக்கிறதுக்கோ அன்ஸ்டேபிளா இருக்கிறதுக்கோ வாய்ப்பு இருக்கு. ஒரு கோஎஃபிஷியன்ட் நெகட்டிவா இருக்கு மினிமம் அப்படின்னா அது ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கா ஒரு ரூட்டாவது ரைட் ஹேண்ட் சைடு போயிருக்கு, அன்ஸ்டேபிளா இருக்கு. ஸோ திஸ் இஸ் வாட் வி டிஸ்கஸ் ரிகார்டிங் ஸ்டெபிலிட்டி. ஓகே, if there is no doubts we will wind up the class today. We will meet by the next class. Any doubts you can ask me now. If you have no doubts we can wind up the class today. Any doubts there?